Hey everyone, and welcome to another video for the channel. Honda knows it, Yamaha knows it, and BMW knows it too, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's a silent revolution sweeping through the motorcycle industry worldwide, and it's not coming from Japan, not from Germany, not from Italy. It's coming straight from China. For more than 50 years, the rule in this industry was clear. If you wanted real quality and reliability, you paid whatever it took for a Honda, a Yamaha, or a BMW. That rule, in 2026, is dead. The numbers don't lie. In Spain, Chinese motorcycles already hold 7 of the top 10 spots in the adventure segment. 7 out of 10. And in Latin America, the story repeats itself. That's why today, I'm bringing you the 5 most sought-after and acclaimed Chinese-made motorcycles on the planet right now. And I'm going to explain why they're crushing their Japanese and European rivals on price, features, and technology. So get comfortable, because we're starting now. Number 5. Zontes 703F, the tech powerhouse that puts the competition to shame. We're starting with a brand that entered the global market with a very clear strategy: win people over visually. Zontes doesn't just compete on price. Zontes competes on features, technology, and futuristic design. And it's working. The new Zontes 703F Adventure is one of the most searched-for motorcycles online right now, and that's no coincidence. Just imagine this: an adventure bike equipped with a colored TFT display, multiple riding modes, traction control, cornering ABS, Bluetooth connectivity with your smartphone, tire pressure monitoring, smart keyless ignition, adjustable electronic suspension, 3 USB ports in the cockpit, and even cruise control. All of that standard, no add-ons, no extras, no fine print. And how much does Zontes ask for all of that? 7,300 euros. Now compare that to the Honda XL 750 Transalp, which starts at 10,000 euros with basic equipment, or the BMW F800 GS, which goes past 11,000 euros. Zontes isn't just competing with the Japanese and European brands, it's actually humiliating them. The 699 cubic centimeter 3-cylinder engine on the 703F is smooth, flexible, and full of character. And while it's not the most powerful engine in its class, it delivers a riding experience that stopped being good for a Chinese bike a long time ago and simply became good, period. No labels attached. In sales, Zontes has already established itself as one of the Chinese brands with the strongest global momentum, and its models are generating millions of monthly searches across Spanish-speaking, Asian, and European markets. This is the bike for the smart buyer who wants premium technology without paying a premium price. Number 4. QJ Motor SRT 800 X Pro and Rhino 900 ADV, the Chinese brand that's no longer playing in the minor leagues. If you think Chinese motorcycles are only competitive in small displacements and low prices, QJ Motor came here to destroy that argument. This company, which belongs to the massive Geely Group, the same group that has Volvo under its umbrella, isn't playing in the cheap entry-level league anymore. The SRT 800X Pro is an adventure bike that proves something historic. A Chinese brand is now competing in the personality segment, not just the price segment. What does that mean? They're no longer selling you the Chinese bike by saying, it's cheap. They're selling it by saying, it's better. But if the 800X Pro is impressive, what comes with the Rhino 900 ADV is on another level entirely. A fully in-house developed 900 cubic centimeter 3-cylinder engine, nearly 120 horsepower, 93 newton-meters of torque. Long travel suspension, full electronics as standard, cornering ABS, traction control, a quick shifter, and a physical presence that brings to mind the KTM 890 Adventure or the Triumph Tiger 900, but at a price that will likely come in under 7,000 euros at its official international launch. KTM charges over 13,000 euros for its 890 Adventure. Triumph asks close to 15,000 for its Tiger 900. QJ Motor will probably ask less than half of that. That's not competing, that's declaring open war. In terms of global online search volume, QJ Motor has seen exponential growth in popularity over the last 2 years. Markets like Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Spain, and Indonesia are showing search volumes that no Chinese brand had reached in these displacements just 3 years ago. The maxi adventure Chinese revolution has already begun, and QJ Motor is taking the lead. Number 3. CF Moto 450 MT, the ghost of KTM that costs half the price. There's a reason the CF Moto 450 MT racks up millions of searches every month around the world. It's impossible to ignore. In terms of price to performance, this bike is one of the most devastating arguments against traditional brands anywhere in today's global market. To understand the CF Moto 450 MT, you first have to understand the relationship between CF Moto and KTM. It's no secret. CF Moto has spent years manufacturing components for KTM in China, acting as its main distributor and manufacturing partner. That relationship gave them access to engineering standards that very few Chinese brands have. And the result speaks for itself. The 450 MT runs a 449 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, dual overhead cams, liquid cooling, Bosch fuel injection, a 43mm adjustable inverted fork, dual front discs, switchable ABS, a color TFT display, riding modes, traction control, and an adventure-styled look that instantly brings the KTM 390 Adventure to mind. And that's no accident. Now here's the number that wrecks any argument in defense of Japanese and European pricing. This CF Moto costs around 6,000 euros in the European market. The KTM 390 Adventure X, its direct rival, also starts at 6,000, with less displacement and less equipment. The Honda NX 500, a similar category bike, tops 6,500 euros. Yamaha, BMW, Ducati, Kawasaki, all priced above it. In some regions of the world, the gap is even more dramatic. The CF Moto 450 MT represents a value proposition that would have been unthinkable for a Chinese-made motorcycle just 5 years ago. The sales numbers back it up. CF Moto has established itself as the third strongest Chinese brand in global traction, and the 450 MT is the model driving that growth. On YouTube, videos comparing the CF Moto 450 MT against its Japanese and European rivals rack up millions of combined views. People don't just want to buy it, they want to understand how something like this can even exist. Number 2. Vogue 625 DSX, the Chinese bike winning the market in real time. If we had to pick just one motorcycle to symbolize the exact moment Chinese brands crossed the point of no return, it's the Vogue 625 DSX. This isn't a promise, it's not a prototype, it's not a bike that might turn out to be good. The Vogue 625 DSX is already the best-selling adventure bike in Spain in 2026. Not the best-selling Chinese adventure bike, the best-selling adventure bike, period. Ahead of Honda, ahead of Yamaha, ahead of BMW, ahead of everyone. And to really grasp what that means, remember that Spain is one of the most mature and demanding motorcycle markets in Europe. Spanish buyers don't throw their money away, and they're choosing the Vogue 625 DSX. Why? Vogue belongs to the Lanson Group, and Lanson has a history a lot of people overlook. They've been building engines for BMW for over 20 years. Yes, the 900 cubic centimeters engine in today's BMWs runs Lanson components. That know-how translates directly into the mechanical quality of Vogue's lineup. The 625 DSX runs a 581 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, putting out 64 horsepower, a 6-axis Bosch IMU, cornering ABS, traction control, a built-in rear camera as standard, full smartphone connectivity, proximity radar, adjustable suspension, a full-color TFT display, and genuinely comfortable adventure bike ergonomics both on and off the pavement. All of that. Standard. No add-ons. No surprises at the dealership. The price? Around 6,600 euros. The Yamaha Tracer 7, its direct rival in performance and philosophy, runs past 10,000 euros. That's a difference of more than 3,500 euros. For that kind of money, with the Vogue, you buy the bike and take a fully equipped trip to Morocco. In terms of online buzz, Vogue leads every Chinese brand in search volume across Spanish, English, and Portuguese. It's the most Googled brand, the most watched on YouTube, the most talked about on motorcycle forums worldwide. And everything points to 2026 being the year it cements its position for good as the biggest Chinese motorcycle brand in the world by sales volume in developed markets. Number 1. ZX Moto 500F and the 500R. R, the bombshell nobody saw coming. And now, the reason I asked you to stick around until the end. The number one motorcycle in terms of global hype, market anticipation, projected search volume, and sheer potential to rewrite the rules of the mid-displacement class worldwide. The beautiful, powerful ZX Moto 500F and its sibling, the 500RR. ZX Moto was founded by one of the masterminds behind Cove, one of the most respected Chinese brands in the sport and high-performance segment. That alone says something. But what really puts the ZX Moto in a category of its own is the engine. A 470 cubic centimeter inline four-cylinder engine, putting out 83 horsepower, 46 newton meters of torque, and Bosch electronic management. 4 cylinders in 470 cubic centimeters. Let that sink in for a second, because there is absolutely nothing else on the global market in this displacement class offering 4 cylinders at this price. The Kawasaki ZX4RR has 4 cylinders and 77 horsepower. The Honda CB500F has 2 cylinders. The Yamaha MT-07 has 2 cylinders. The CF Moto 450NK has 2 cylinders. All good bikes, all respectable, but none of them give you the power this bike does. The ZX Moto 500 does. And that's not some minor technical detail. A 4-cylinder engine sounds completely different. It has a different power curve. It delivers a feeling under acceleration that 2-cylinder engines simply can't replicate. It's the reason the Kawasaki ZX-10R, the Honda CB R1000RR, and the Yamaha R1 sound the way they sound and ride the way they ride. Now imagine that experience in a bike under $5,000. Confirmed direct export price from China, $4,980. For Europe and international markets, it's expected to arrive in the second half of 2026 and early 2027. Curb weight, 175 kilograms. Claim top speed, 205 kilometers per hour. And with a ride-by-wire throttle and traction control included on the 2026 version, the ZX Moto 500 didn't show up to compete. It showed up to rule this category. And the motorcycle world already knows it. It's the Chinese bike with the biggest accumulated hype of the last 2 years, racking up millions of social media impressions before it's officially reached a single dealership outside of China. That doesn't happen with just any motorcycle. So, what does all this tell us? It tells us that the motorcycle industry is going through its biggest transformation since Honda launched the CB750 in 1969 and changed what a motorcycle could be. For more than 50 years, the rules were written in Japanese, in German, and in Italian. In 2026, those rules are being rewritten in Chinese. Vogue with the 625 DSX, proving that a Chinese brand can be the #1 seller in a global market. CF Moto with the 450 MT, delivering KTM DNA at half the price. QJ Motor with the Rhino 900 ADV, bringing a 3-cylinder engine and 120 horsepower to the affordable trail segment. Zontes with sci-fi technology at everyday reality prices. And ZX Moto with a 4-cylinder, 470 cubic centimeter engine that makes it unthinkable for anyone to pay double for a 2-cylinder rival. The traditional brands have a serious problem. Not a quality problem because their bikes are still excellent. The problem is value proposition. When someone can choose between paying 12,000 euros for a BMW with 2 cylinders or 6,000 euros for a Vogue with equivalent technology, the conversation changes completely. The market is already responding, and the response is crystal clear. If you're a rider anywhere in the world, this affects you directly, because what China is doing today in the motorcycle market is the same thing Japan did back in the 70s, showing up with quality, price, and volume until the world had no choice but to pay attention. Except this time, it's happening a lot faster. If this content opened your mind, or if you think your Japanese or European bike still has no rival, leave me your opinion in the comments. I'd love to read what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the bell so you don't miss a single video, and share this content with that biker friend who still thinks only Japanese and European brands are worth it. Ride safe, and I'll see you in the next video.